Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the platform. So now we go to um, Perry in Christ, a rare sighting of Damion Crawford. I believe they're talking about the situation mainly with the PEP exam. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen.
Tonight, we're going to be having a conversation with MP Damion Crawford regarding what we've been hearing in the political grapevine. MP, Mr. Crawford, how are you, sir?
How are you doing, my brother? All is well?
Yes, man, all is well, man. Thank you for supporting the super chat, Gunners. Yes, Mr. Crawford, the people are here. We are excited to really hear from you. This is really your first time, first interview after we've been hearing certain things in the political space, and we know we're going to be talking about PEP and education, as that is your area of expertise. But the elephant is in the room, Mr. Crawford. The first question I would like to ask: are you aware, and can you confirm or deny? Somebody saying that you are low. Maybe, I don't know if you could probably go closer to the mic. I'm not sure.
Check. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you. I think personally just saying that you're a bit low. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there has been a lot of conversations regarding your ambitions to lead the People's National Party, but more concerning for many, it's been said that there has been conversations about persons making calls on your behalf. Some say calls to caretakers, donors, and delegates representing you to start this campaign for the PNP. Can you confirm or deny or that? What is happening there?
Muscle loss is common after.
Well, big up Perry for going straight to the jugular and getting it out of the way. Excellent Perry in Christ, yes.
Has become the norm for the last 2 years. If you carry your mind back to June, July, August of last year, there was persons, one of which Mama San and others, who were doing the same kind of public assassination of my character.
Oh, Mama San didn't Crawford say a publicly assassinating character. Oh my God. Lord have mercy. See, this is why when I hear these stories, I always use the caveat and say, if there's any truth to these statements, and I give my opinion on it. Because I don't know. I have looked on the source of where it's coming from most of the time, ocean-wide and these labor rights. So, yes, let's continue.
And it seemed to be a strategy employed to, I guess, dissuade. However, there is no probability of a challenge within the People's National Party in 2026 because the rules indicate that it has to be every other year. So the only time that there can be a challenge would be in 2027. And I would not put a party through the rigors of a political campaign for 15, 16 months. So no one has heard an announcement from me because there can be no challenge in 2026. However, a Democratic Socialist Party would have within its concept have two things, democracy and socialism as central pillars of the party. And therefore it is the right of anyone who is a member to assess his own capacity to contribute, to assess the conversations he has had with others, and to then see if he believes in his conscience that he can contribute more in a different position, or she can contribute more in a different position. And when that time comes, I'll make that assessment. So as you have seen, I've been quiet, and whatever supporters that I may have, they have generally been quiet as well, because this is a much to do about nothing conversation that initiates every July and August.
So you've mentioned a few things, Mr. Crawford. You mentioned the People's National Party being a democratic one, and I'm sure everybody would agree that you all should have a right. Anybody should have a right to throw their hat in the ring. So you've not made it a secret that you hope to one day lead the PNP. But what we do know about aspirations, Mr. Crawford, is that normally when you aspire to lead an organization, there's normally something that you'd want to change. Do you believe that there's something missing from the leadership of Mark Golding that you may want to do differently?
It would be stupid of me as a member of the inner circle, meaning a member of parliament and a person with access to the ears of Mark Golding, to discuss any shortcomings I perceive outside of a campaign in a public way. So, therefore, if it is that there are shortcomings that I perceive, it would be sensible for me, having access to his office and his ear, to indicate that to him. What I do know is that we have lost free election support. And so
You were getting a call just now. You were getting a call. Go again.
We have lost 3 elections and we can't afford to lose the 4th. And so the People's National Party must ensure that we assess all realities, all positions, and all individuals and put our best foot forward. And so that includes the indoor agent and the outdoor agent. That includes the cluster managers. That includes the councillors and the candidates. And it includes the officers. So a party that has lost 3 times must do a full introspection and try to ensure that we don't lose the 4th time. But any shortcomings that exist within the leadership, I have sufficient access to the leadership to feel free to have that conversation with them.
You mentioned putting our best foot forward. We've lost 3 elections, you've said. Do you believe that a best foot forward for the PNP could be new leadership and that being you?
Again, there will be a time for that decision, and that is in 2027. So in 2027, the party constitution has organized for there to be a clear vacancy and for persons that have interest to offer themselves. At that time, all members should assess within their own conscience if they believe that they should offer themselves based on the callings of others and based on the conversations with others and based on the personal perceptions of themselves. So, no, I have not completed that assessment to this point. And I have felt no pressure to complete that assessment to this point. But I have contributed to this party. I have sacrificed consistently for this party. I have led for this party on occasion. And to that extent, I have no intent to kick over the entire bucket of all the things that I have contributed to working towards, and many others have contributed to working towards. And so when the assessment is done, with full respect and with open communication, we don't think that we have to attack the person who we disagree with. We would indicate to the public if we believe that steps are necessary. At this time, there was no need to make that assessment.
Oh, okay. As you've mentioned something about you wouldn't kick over the...
Cartoons make complex ideas.
What I get from this is that he's not saying that he have no intention of running. He's saying that there's no conversation, there's no challenge. No, it's not in the legal parameters for a challenge. That would be 2027, and whether he or she, whoever they are, should assess whether or not they would want to challenge the situation. That's what I'm hearing. I don't hear anything different from Damion Crawford. He's not denying any having any ambition to to run and become the leader of the party. Yes, he's not denying none of that. But big up Damion Crawford, still some market you see. 2030 and beyond. Let's continue.
However, on the wouldn't kick over the... Okay. As you've mentioned something about you wouldn't kick over the bucket and burn it all down to build it up back again. However, on the ground, Mr. Crawford, we've been hearing so many different persons, some bloggers, some comments on the ground saying that you are a part of a destabilizing process and that other MPs have colluded with you. I don't want to call any name, but there was a certain MP that stepped down recently from a certain position to focus on his constituency. Many are saying that was a coordinated action between you and him to somehow solidify your best foot forward. Is that can you deny that there's no such collusion?
Well, first of all, the logic of the argument seems to be flawed. Stepping down to solidify our position just don't seem to make sense. However, many of the persons I've seen having loud conversations are not in a position to know. They would not be in a position to know. But they make money and they get attention from acting as if they know. But I can tell you of my history in this party. I joined in 2007, the front lines of the party after our election loss. Most people are attracted to a political party on the front line when an election is won. I became the YO president in 2008 and fought tooth and nails to bring the party to power in 2011. I would have marched to Jamaica House at least 2 occasions and led a YO that many would have argued was one of the most efficient and effective YOs in recent memory. I then ran for a seat that was expected to lose, that was East Rural St. Andrew, on the basis that they were coming with young people time, and I was recruited to the electoral numbers as a representation of the young people. I ran in that seat and won that seat, that is East Rural St. Andrew, and continued to work in that seat, placed my best foot forward, had a falling out on this, and if history should be the home of truth, had a falling out and a demonstration against children having education, saying that education can and picnic can't vote. These persons are willing to carry their minds back to the realities of what happened. Thereafter, there was a challenge, and in that challenge, I lost the challenge. And despite having lost the challenge, came out and fully campaigned in 2011. Thereafter, I ran for the vice president of the party, won with the most votes, and served the party to its fullest. When the leadership changed and there were calls for a support team for the leader who were overt in support, I offered my position to a 2+2 agreement that we had. I then continued to campaign on behalf of the People's National Party and was a central figure in the campaign in 2020. Notwithstanding having lost, I went back to the Senate, consistently advocated on behalf of the people through the Senate. In fact, would have carried much attention to the People's National Party. Mark Bowling was the leader of the party, and there's none among us who intend to be truthful that can claim that I didn't do all that I could to win the last election.
Yes, go ahead. I want to. You made a point. I want to ask, but go ahead. Finish up with that.
Right. I mean, many don't know, but I toured over 32 constituencies despite having my own constituency, and not only having my own constituency, knew that if I lost, my career would have been over, and was running in a seat that only won by 122 the election before. Notwithstanding, I made myself available to multiple candidates: Hanover, St. James, Trelawney. The only parish that I didn't walk during the election was St. Elizabeth, and that was because a press conference call on the day, and I was a member of the press conference. Portland, all of those things. So my contribution to the party and dedication. Wait, I forgot. I also resigned my job in 2019 to run in East Portland on the simple basis that many felt I was the best person to put up a fight in East Portland. At that time, we were 11 points behind. I still hold the record for number of votes by a PMP candidate in East Portland today. I still hold the record for number of votes by a PMP candidate in East Rural St. Andrew to today.
You. Just you.
Yeah, man, I reload the fox them, man. Member good.
So I left my
Mr.
job
Crawford.
at the university. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you left. Yeah, we remember you being a lecturer at UWI.
Yeah.
Mr. Crawford, some would say that you listing out your achievements and nobody should discredit your achievements. One would say that sounds like a campaign speech. Are you confirming that you will challenge the leadership of the PNP?
No, because I've made no achievement. I've made contributions. I've listed my contribution. I've listed my effort. So to see members of the party find joy in utterances such as mongrel brings pain to my own heart and my own conscience, because I have sacrificed a lot on behalf of the party and I've contributed.
Who called Damion Crawford mongrel? Sometimes I think we take it too far. Sometimes we take it too far. Really? Somebody call him a mongrel? Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. No, I'll have to go back and look at my thing. I don't think I ever disrespected Damion Crawford. I've always made sure I spoke in context. Like, yo, if this, if that, you know, I'm going to look at it this way. If that happens and the timing, I remember my conversations. I remember some of this, you know, the things that I said when I heard the rumors. You know what I mean? Real talk. But you have some PMP people where As soon as they look like I tell them, nah, rich. Them a make you know what time it is. And them are going to go hard. Doreen. Wow. Damn, I never heard that. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that is, yeah, we go too far sometimes. I never heard that. Damn. A political mongrel? Sheesh. That is, ooh, Lord of mercy.
Beauty a lot to the party. It doesn't cause for you to derive allowing joy in utterances such as a mongrel brings pain to my own heart and my own conscience, because I have sacrificed a lot on behalf of the party and I've contributed a lot to the party. It doesn't cause for you to deserve anything other than respect. And I believe that I have proven my commitment sufficient to deserve respect.
Oh, so you're saying that you feel, regardless of your ambitions, you believe that you should be shown as a certain level of respect. I think the viewers just really want to know. I mean, it's really up to you if you're comfortable sharing, because you've not denied it. Will you, Mr. Crawford, challenge leadership next year?
I can't say. As I said, it would be foolish to put a party in a campaign for 14 months. It would also be damaging to put the party in a campaign for 14 months. So even if I had made up my mind, I would not communicate that at this particular point in time. What I am going to fight for to the end is the right to do so within a democratic party.
Okay.
And that right exists for any one of us who perceives in their conscience that they can make a contribution at any level.
Okay, Mr. Crawford, I just three more questions or so, then we get to your portfolio. A lot of persons remember you on the campaign being very vocal, platform to platform, a lot of sound bites coming from you. But now you are not the Crawford. Many, and this is what I'm hearing on the ground, as a political commentator. Many are saying that you're quiet now. Is it that because you are otherwise minded? You represented the team last year to debate on social issues. We've been faced with a myriad of different social issues, and persons are saying Crawford is quiet. Is that so, and if so, why?
Well, again, I like to use objective measures. So a person can simply go and search the name Damion Crawford in the YouTube. Let's look at the parliament. While I was a member of the committee, the PAAC, at least 3 viral clips came that benefited the PMP, including the one where I questioned where the money was going for the hurricane relief, including where I questioned the Ministry of Finance, etc. I would have made presentations in Parliament that have been shared all over the internet, not by me, but by others, on gambling, on casinos, on NHT, on the proposal of willing the NHT benefit. Just last week I spoke on Dean Pierce. I don't believe that there are persons, there are not many who have made more contributions in the Parliament. So I'm not sure how they measure going silent. There is absolutely no campaign going on at this particular point in time. And so therefore, my work has been in the Parliament, for which I've tried to be studious in executing that. So any Google search would deny the rumor being spread about being silent.
Yeah, well, Mr. Crawford, certainly we appreciate you answering that. Just two more questions. You've made mention of you having the right to.
And before I'm going to that, yeah, nobody can deny him right. And we understand the democracy of it all. And I'm happy that Perry got this interview, because the conversation needed to be had. And what I'm getting so far, the man not going to tell any of us whether or not he is planning to, or if he is planning. Him just not tell nobody. Him not telling, him not disclosing that. Him not doing none of that. So people can feel how they want to feel. This is what it is. That's how me get. And if I defend him right, to actually run if he want to run. However we view it, you want to defend him right. Hello somebody? Let's continue.
Aspire right? You have the right to
Myself and
aspire.
others, any others.
Yourself and others, yes. Yourself and others. And a lot of persons would still say that no, you're quiet, but you've answered. You said people have the right to aspire, yourself and others. Do you believe that in the PNP, that right is being taken from you? I'm not talking about us viewers now and comrades on the ground. From the PNP, do you believe that you're somehow being undermined by the
No.
leadership of any sort?
I see no basis to conclude that. I see no basis to conclude that. The leadership will make decisions, and the scholarship will either be happy or dissatisfied with those decisions. It is within the authority of the leadership to make those decisions. I am the spokesperson on education. I would have initiated a lawsuit on behalf of the people of Jamaica to challenge the constitutionality of our early childhood education. I would have indicated to the public the misuse of information and data. I would have been at the forefront of proposing solutions after the Hurricane Melissa. So
You have a brilliant idea. Now you just need
I definitely appreciate that lawsuit. Somebody need to take this government to court, man. Lord of mercy. It's criminal what's going on.
have been at the forefront of proposing solutions after the Hurricane Melissa. So that is the portfolio for which I was granted. And I continue to speak on the portfolio for which I was granted.
Okay, Mr. Crawford, for now, do you support the current leadership of the P? This is the last question. Do
Of
you
course.
support Mark Jefferson Golding?
Well, I hope you get the opportunity to interview the leader.
Oh, certainly. I reached out.
He would indicate my contribution. No less than 9 of the ideas that were exposed in the last budget debate were brainchilds of mine. Brainchildren, I guess, I don't know what the term is, which were shared with the leader. I've contributed on many occasions. Any observation of Parliament could see that I'm very willing to participate. While any leader remains the leader, they have my full support, as did Portia Simpson, as did Peter Phillips, and as did Mark Bolo. The last opportunity to prove that was in the election, and I fought tooth and nail for him to become the Prime Minister of his country. So therefore, the assessment of yourself and the asking of the collective knowledge of the party to make decisions on who is best or whom are best to lead us forward have nothing to do with support or lack of support, because it is not a negative emotion to a person. As long as he is the leader, he has my support. As long as Angela Bloomberg is the chairperson, she has my support. As long as Dayton Campbell is the general secretary, he has my support. And if for any reason there's a change in any one of those realities, they too have my support. Joan Gordon Webley would have run against me in his rural St. Council in 2011. Yet, I have campaigned with Joan Gordon Webley on 2 occasions when she ran for the PNP, because all members of the PNP have my support.
Mr. Crawford, you've said that the current leadership of the party, they have your support, but in terms of answering whether or not you will challenge the leadership of the PNP, you said you cannot say that right now. What would be, if you should decide to challenge the leadership of the PNP, I'm not sure if you're comfortable to reveal your tactic, but based on the history of a divided PNP, we've seen what leadership challenges do to the PNP, Mr. Crawford. And I think a lot of comrades are saying, why challenge the leadership even next year?
Well, again, that is one of the greatest joys of a democratic process. In fact, at this point, we have 28,000 delegates. We have about 400,000 supporters. And the democratic process calls for some to agree and to disagree and to decide where the majority falls. And so, therefore, I acknowledge the opinion of all members of the party, all delegates, and all comrades who support the party. I also acknowledge their anxiety. I know, as a matter of fact, that Portia Simpson was challenged in 2008 and won 42 seats, I think in 2008 or 2009, won 42 seats in 2011. Andrew Holness was challenged, I think, in 2014 and won in 2016. So the anecdotal arguments about, it is a disaster, has been proven only when Peter Bunting challenged on the verge of the election, and also the outcome might not have been possible to change. But the outcomes of 2 public challenges in Jamaica has shown that parties can recover from the democratic process. I believe if there is a challenge for anything, because it can't be reserved only to the leader. What if somebody wants to be a vice president? Is that also too divisive to have a vice president election? What if somebody wants to be a region chair? Is that too divisive to have a region chair election? What if somebody wants to be a replacing candidate? Is that too divisive to seek to be a candidate if a candidate currently exists? And what if somebody wants to be a chairman? Is that too divisive? So a political party who plies its trade in the democratic process cannot be of the opinion that democracy kills it, nor can a socialist party be of the opinion that socialism kills it. So you must be committed to the ideological pillars of the party, which is that all are able to have a say, all are able to hold a position, and we believe in the equal opportunity for all Jamaicans. Those two tenets must be at the forefront of the election of the political party. So if there are some that are sensing anxiety, I can understand those anxieties. If there are some that are saying if there is any feeling of a need for change, that there should be conversations that may prevent a divisive election. If there are some who are saying that if we should have an election, it should not be on the negative of the other, but on the positive of the person you support. Those persons would have been disappointed with the anti-democratic faction who have decided to sully the name of any individual that they perceive to be in support of a democratic process. So I think that if we should have an election, the way in which it is run is going to have much greater impact than the election itself. And if persons determine that they are the people to stop the mongrels and the thing like that.
To stop the who? To stop the who?
The mongrels, it was said. But if persons like those believe that it is in their sole authority to decide on the direction of the party, it would have an issue. But I don't believe that. I would have exposed the virtues of Mark Golding on the platform. And I don't go on platform to speak lies. I believe Mark Golding has great qualities, and those qualities must be considered as to how we move forward.
Yeah, we're gonna get to some other matters.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, no, I understand. I think I've been asking the questions, and persons are also having their own comments in the chat. But the last question on this I'd like to ask, Mr. Crawford, if you record.
No, Perry, you say the last question a couple times, well, but you more David Crawford answer question. It's like Perry now really get the answer where the chat won't have to get, because if you're looking at the chat, the people they might go on to play, so let's continue.
Recognize that your ambitions may cause a divided PNP. Will you relinquish or step back from those ambitions for the greater good of the party? Or will you push on and say, it's my time now, time come for Crawford?
I am at a confused state as it relates to ambitions. If you should go back to 2013, I indicated an ambition to one day beat the party. Did I challenge in 2014? Did I offer myself in 2015? What would have stopped me from offering myself only on ambitions in 2024 or 2023? Instead, I contributed what I could contribute on behalf of the party.
Yo, you know, like, Damion Crawford, I give some good answers, because he must show you a reference. You understand? He must show you, so listen. I having an ambition doesn't mean that it's not something bad. It doesn't mean that I'm going to challenge next year. You understand? It's just, ocean wide and other labor right, them put out this out there for this said reason. You feel what I deal with? Yeah, because they want to divert the conversation from the real conversation them. Like you, them in a school, now get proper education. Like, why isn't there a deeper conversation amongst the liberates them about that? Then they don't want to talk about that. You know what I mean?
A personal that I could contribute on behalf of the party. So I'm not going to be fueled by just a personal ambition. I will be fueled by the voice of the people, because what they say is law. And if the average delegate believes that there should be an offering, then that is likely to happen. If the average delegate believes that there should not be an offering, then that is unlikely to happen. So personal ambition can never be the basis of seeking to lead a political movement with over 400,000 supporters. So that is not the basis of my decision making.
Thank you, MP Crawford. So we would like to hear your views on, I'm not sure if you've taken the time out to look at some of these things in any depth, but I would be remiss of me not to ask you.
No, I'm not going to go in there and that. People want to go and, watch the full interview with Damion Crawford. That portion is what I'm interested in. Challenge argument and him setting, just letting us know where he is at with it. You feel me, I deal with. Whoever call him a mongrel, some people are putting name in the chat. I never see it, I don't know. So I can't speak on it. Yeah. Yeah, that's sticky. Yeah. I hope I've never disrespected him in him being passionate about things that are happening. You know them, right? Yeah, so big up Damion Crawford, big up Marky G. And right now, to me see it, whatever is God's agenda for Jamaica, we're gonna see the leader that God wants to be in place by or before 2027. So if I'm Marky G, I'm Marky G. Anybody where God said, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Because God have a greater plan for your country. I have to take back Jamaica. See my David? Like, share, and subscribe.